Hi there! We continue our trip around Bohemian Switzerland. The incredible Pravcicka Gate is the jewel of the Bohemian Switzerland and a serious candidate for the list of the wonders of the world. 16 meters high with its 27-meter span, the majestic rock bridge is best admired firsthand. Only then can we understand that this is the true gate to a world of romantic rivers, overwhelming rock towns, dreamy valleys and picturesque villages. It's the queen of this landscape, and no one can say to have been in Saxon-Bohemian Switzerland without having visited it. The Pravcicka is situated about 3 kilometers northwest of the picturesque village of Hrzensko. You can leave your car at the park in Hrzensko, paid parking behind restaurant Klepacz, or use the car park at Meznilovka, near Hotel Meznilovka. These are the two starting points for a trip to Pravcicka Gate. It's strictly prohibited to park outside of these locations. From Hrzensko, take the red hiking trail, and after approximately 1.5 kilometers you will arrive at a point where a path closes the road. There is a bus stop named Tři Prameny, so you can get to that point also by bus. From there, take a forest trail on the left, and about 2.5 kilometers you will reach the Pravcicka Brana. From Meznilovka, follow the red hiking symbol along the Gabrielina Stezka trail. Mezna is also a good starting point for a sightseeing tour of the Pravcicka Gate. If you come there after Edmund Gorge, Edmundova Soutieska, walking upstream along the river through the gorge, the river is crossed on the majestic bridge. Follow the yellow trail. If you come there after Wild Gorge, Divoka Soutieska, walking downstream along the river through the gorge, and the river is crossed on the majestic bridge too. Then hike up the green trail, a steep climb to Mezna. There is a small entrance fee for visitors, and the opening hours can be checked here. It's not allowed to stand on the top of the arch, because doing so would increase the erosion rate. Don't even think about attempting that. You can get a much better view from one of the nearby lookout points anyway. The Pravcicka Brana, with a span of 26.5 meters, an inside height of 16 meters, 8 meters maximum width and 3 meters arch, is the largest natural arch in Europe and one of the most striking natural monuments in the Alp sandstone mountains. It is located in the Bohemian Switzerland National Park in the Ústí nad Labem region in northwestern Bohemia. The arch is a symbol of the national park and one of the most recognizable natural landmarks in Czechia. In 2009, Pravcicka Gate got into the narrower ground of the new Seven Wonders poll by 7 natural wonders of the world, when it advanced among 71 semi-finalists. However, it didn't make it to the shortlist of 28 finalists. If you have seen the film The Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, you might recognize it because several scenes were shot there. The present name Pravcicka Gate is derived from its German name, Prebischtor, meaning the Prebisch Gate, were Tor as a gate. The first inhabitants of the area called the gate according to their characteristics and dimensions. The common name was Great Gate. which is also documented in the first written mention of the gate of 1410. By contrast, the list of local names contained in the herbarium of 1722 lists only the simple "thus Thor." It was only in tourist literature that the name Prebischtor began to appear. The name was taken from the name of the nearest field units: Prebisch Ground, Prebisch Kegel, and Prebisch Horn, already mentioned in the descriptions of the borders of the 16th and 17th century, and in the contracts of the division of the estate. These names probably come from the inhabitants' name Prebisch, which was once widespread here. With the boom in tourists, the number of Czech visitors from the Czech-speaking inland gradually increased. The German form of the word was thus similar to a Czech word. This was initially inconsistent, which is also shown by the diversity of these names: Gate of Prebisch, Great Gate of Precisov, and Precisov Gate. Finally, in the 1930s, the current shape of Pravcicka Gate settled. However, this name is not related to the name of the village Pravcice in the district of Kromedis. There are also many legends and examples of folk etymology explaining the origin of the name. One is the legend of the hermit Prebisch, who allegedly resided here and gave the gate a name. Equally unlikely is the opinion that the gate was given a name from the Slavic expression for the gate or overhang. The German name Prebischtor would thus be derived from the Czech word overhang. According to legend, the hermit Prebisch lived right there in a cave. He was hiding from the outside world. The large overhang attracted him like a magnet. He spent time with him, prayed, and enjoyed the separation from people. Back then, it was truly a wild place among the rocks where few people came at most to seek his advice or bring him a gift. Prebisch even named the overpass after himself. Until once, during his meditation, the hermit had a vision. He saw the overhang in a completely different form, as a rock gate which crowds of people go to admire. As a hermit, he didn't like his idea very much. He wanted his peace. "God forbid, I live to see it," he pleaded in his prayers. Time passed and the hermit forgot his vision. Only once, he was again meditating under the overhang, and a huge boulder was released from the ground from his center and overwhelmed him. This was the beginning of today's Pravcicka Gate, which the hermit never saw, as he begged God. A legend is a legend. Some sources cite it as the reason for the name Pravcicka Brana. However, there are many opinions as to how her name came about, and most of them do not sound as romantic as the legend about the hermit. What is certain, however, is that the gate was created much earlier than the hermit Prebisch was supposed to live and hide here. It's hundreds, maybe tens of millions of years old. According to scientists, it cannot be determined exactly. The first hermits lived in Bohemia sometime in the 9th century and later. The Czech word brana also means gate, so the name Pravcicka Brana may be understood as the Pravcicka Gate. Several other Czech names had been used in the past, e.g. Velká Brana, the Great Gate, until it was normalized as Pravcicka Brana in the 1830s. The rather peculiar chateau next to the large rock wall near the arch is called Falcon's Nest, Sokoli Hnízdo. It was built at the order of Prince Edmund Clary Aldrigan in the Swiss chalet style in 1881. The family of Clary Aldrigans hosted their distinguished guests in the chateau. Nowadays, the chateau house is a restaurant and a photo gallery. The whole chateau was built within 1 year, which is almost record time when one takes into consideration the size of the structure and the period in which it was built. Several years later, guardrails were installed on the cliff lookouts dotted throughout the surroundings. Soon after the restaurant was built, an entrance fee was introduced. The span of the arch at the bottom is 26.5 meters, and the opening is 16 meters high. The width ranged from approximately 7 to 8 meters, and in the narrowest place, the arch is about 3 meters thick. This makes the Pravcická Brana the largest natural sandstone arch in Europe, and it's a very impressive sight, not only because of its size, but also thanks to the very picturesque surroundings. Since its discovery by tourists, Pravcicka Gate has been visited regularly by millions of people. One of the many well-known personalities who admired its beauties twice, in 1831 and 1851, was the famous fairy tale author Hans Christian Andersen. It's undoubtedly clear that he drew a lot of inspiration for his work from this place. The cliffs of the Bohemian Switzerland were formed by the erosion of the sandstone. Harder parts of the sandstone are more resistant against weathering, so they can take longer to erode. Soft layers from cavities and caves collapse produces tectonic caves, and weathering along cracks and bedding plants creates wall-like structures. The result is a pretty strange landscape, which is the main attraction of this area. There is a vast system of walking trails offering access to the cliffs. Only a few sites are accessible by car. Honestly, it was an unplanned hike and we didn't have much time for normal and stable recording, so don't judge us strictly. It was really fun for us and we are recommending you to visit this place. If you like the video, click like, leave a comment below and share it.
Не хочу. Я вернусь.
Oj, się doszła. Na to... Де та мапа? Ну, там має писати, на якій ми вийшли. Скільки ми кілометрів вийшли? Я не знаю.
Чекай, мене.
لبات متر. Jeg prøvede faktisk lige at hente det, der til mig.